Hello, this is God7, and today I'm going to make a better tutorial on how to edit the title screen, because the last tutorial was not so good. So anyways, what you're going to need is your ROM of choice, Mario 64DS editor, and Tinke. Now I'm just going to go ahead and extract Tinke right now, so we can start tinkering around with things, and I'll also make the classic shortcut like I always do, in case I X out of it, need it later, yada yada yada. Then I'll just delete the zip. So you're going to want to open your ROM in Mario 64DS editor. So let's go to my tutorial folder, title.nds, and you're going to want to go into 9 overlays. I thought the overlays would be in the file system, they're just kind of in a different part though. Anyways, you want to decompress the overlay and then hit extract. And then I'm going to place it in this folder called default. I'm going to call it overlay7.bin. Simple enough. Alright, and you're also going to need a link to this web page. Now this will tell you where the title screen is stored in this file for all the different versions of the game except for Korean, because no one cares about Korean. But let's see what version this is. In order to see what version the ROM is, Tools, Text Editor. Then you can see the ROM version is USA v1. So we'll be using the US v1 overlay, or offsets. So now I can just X out of this editor for now, and then I'll open this with HXD. You're going to need that. And I'm going to make 3 new files. ncg.bin. It's ncg, right? Yeah. You're also going to make ncl.bin. And lastly, you're going to want to make nsc.bin. Then you're going to want to open all of these up in HXD, not Nitro Studio. I'm just so used to saying that now. So first we're going to do the palette, or NCL. So this is we're going to follow the USB1 offsets, since that's our ROM version, but whatever you need, you can have. So I'm going to go to that offset by hitting Control G, and then putting that in there. Then you can see we have the length there, and now it's 480 bytes. And to select 480 bytes, you want to hit Edit, Select Block, Length. Let's switch this to decimal and hit 480. Then once we hit OK, we can just hit Control C and then hit Control V. Then we now have our length of 480 bytes, or 0x1e0. Alright, now once you got the NCL extracted, we're going to go for the SC, or screen, or in this case map. So what we're going to see here is the US. I was doing the European ROM earlier for testing, so that's why. Then I'm going to use these coordinates, so let me go to these offsets. Alright, now once we're here, we're going to select the length again, or 1536. So once again, edit, select block, length 1536. Then hit Control C. Then Control V it in here. Then we have all 1536 or 0x600 bytes. And lastly, we have the longest CG, or tile. So what we're going to do here is, once again, copy the offset, go to the offset, and select block. This time it's going to be 32640 in decimal, 32640. Then copy and paste. Alright, now we have all the files. So once you have all the files, you're going to want to open Tinke. And we're going to open our ROM. Now once in here, you can just kind of X out of the debugging messages and the game info. And what we really want to go in here is the data, stage, Bombay map. You're going to want to change the file to, first of all, ICL to NCL, ICG, NCG, ISC, NSC. Now let's see if our files work and that we got the correct one. So first we're going to select the CL or palette and open the palette. And then we're going to open the CG or tile as a tile. But we have the tiles, but they don't really know where to go. So that's why we have the SC or map. And now you can see here we have a 256 by 192 image. And yeah. And now we're going to need an image to use to replace our thing with. So I'm going to go ahead and get an image. Alright, over here you can see that I got an image. So I'm going to change the view mode of this images so that we can see better. And there we go. Now I'm going to open this with paint.net first. Or use GIMP if that's your image editor of choice. Now we're going to do some quick resizing. Nothing much. And I'm going to set the width to 256. And you can see it kind of fits perfectly. I'm just going to save. And basically you want the coordinates to be, rather they can be 256 by 128 or 256 by 192. Although for this I'm going to use 128 since that has a tendency to work better. And if you use 192, you may have a chance of the files being too big to use. So keep that in mind. Now that I have the logo here, I'm going to open this with GIMP. Alright, now we got our image. Let me extend the window a bit. Alright. Now, what we're going to do here is do some changes. Now, we have this, but let's say we need to decide on the background color. Now, you could do the default gradient, but that's going to be hard. You're going to do a bit of palette editing that I'll show you in a second. But let's just say I want the background color to be something like let's go with dark blue maybe. Yeah, let's go with this dark blue. And you can see here that we have the edges, the transparent edges interfering with some things. Now, before we do the background, it'd be better off to index our BMP first. So mode indexed, we want to set the maximum number of colors to 256, hit convert. Then that should help us for when we place these, because there'll no longer be any transparent pixels. although these may look a bit odd, in which you might need to do it. Now this TM logo, if you don't like it, or I don't like it, so I can just remove it by using the brush tool. And there it goes. But as for these sides, I'm going to show you how to get rid of these. So I'm going to use the color select tool. I'm going to put the threshold all the way down so it doesn't interfere with anything. Now I'm going to select any colors that pop up that I don't want. And it will select any other color that matches. You hold shift to select more than one color. You gotta be a bit careful though, you don't want to take too much away. Otherwise you can have it look even worse than it did before. And now once that's done, you want to take a brush tool, and I'm going to set the size to the max. Basically, yeah, it'll take care of that. And you can see that the edges are nice and crisp now. They're very crispy edges. And now we're going to edit our palette a bit, so that way we have them edited properly. So an image or Windows, dockable dialogues, color map. You can see a complete color map of our thing here. Although the unfortunate thing is these last 56 things here or so are kind of reserved for the backgrounds. So we need like 56 of these colors to just kind of disappear. And how we do that is image mode. We want to turn the mode back to RGB. Then we can turn it back to indexed. And then we're going to set this to 200. And this will get rid of some colors. But now, if we look at the color map, we now have 56 or so reserved colors. So now you can rearrange the color map. Now, here's the thing. Let's use the dropper tool. And what if we wanted this background to be, let's say, transparent? Then you would hit this background and it would show you what color it uses on the color map, which is this color right here, or a color index 73. And if we look, that would be right here. And what we'd want to do is move this one all the way to the front. And then you want to click enter. Alright, now once you're done, you want to hit Control Shift E and then BMP. And I'll just call this logo .bmp. Alright then. Now going back to Tinke, we have this logo here. Now we're going to hit replace palette and hit import. Now I'm going to go to images and logo.bmp, and you can see it load this thing here. The CG should not be too big, hopefully. You can see it has some extra info there, but we can try and eliminate that later. Anyways, what we're going to want to do is look at the palette now. And you can see that we're actually missing the last 24 or so colors. So we're going to need to, in the colors to fill, type in 240 and hit fill colors. This will ensure we have the correct amount of colors with the background. But let's just say we're good for now, and we're just going to be happy and see that all these works. So for the CL, you're going to extract it, and then in the new bins, we're going to call this new ICL. And I kind of forgot to add the .bin at the end. And then extract this new ICG .bin. Then finally, new ISC .bin. Alright, now time to double check our byte sizes. So our ISC is 1024, so that's good, it can fit. Now the ICL, that's 480, right on spot. And our ICG is 32768, 100 and something bytes over the limit. Now let's take a good look at this. And you can see we have acres of zeros right here. We can just kind of remove these zeros. And hopefully it should still work. Hopefully the deleting zeros shouldn't do anything, but usually you can delete some zeros at the end without penalty. Just to double check, I'm going to import our new ICG and see how it looks. So once again, view this as palette, view this as tile, then view as map. And you can see that it seems to work just fine without those zeros at the end. And you can see it's below our limit, so yay, we got that to work. Now it's time to import these images back into the game. Now remember here that the background is going to be our main nemesis here because of these. This would probably give us a black background gradient or something. If you want to set it, you can set the transparency if you want to have this background be clear if you want to. But let's assume we don't. And so we're going to copy the overlay 7.bin and put it in the new bins. Now we're going to open everything once again in HXD, and we're going to kind of do the opposite this time. Copy this, go to palette overlay, which is 2B9C8, 2B9C8, right click and hit paste right, and then that should give us 1E0. Alright, I'm not going to save just yet, just in case. Now ISC, copy, select. You can see we're 200, 0x200 bytes off, so I'll show you how to fix that later. And let's go to the map, which is 2FA10. So go over here, 2FA10. Now edit, select block. No, sorry, that's later. Let's do the paste right. And at the beginning of this, I'm going to select a block of 1536 because that's going to be the length. So 1536. And you can see our last one is going to be over here. So I'm just going to mark this as, actually, we don't know what bytes to use. So you can see that we're going to need to remove all this info here. And we don't need to keep track of the zeros all the way till down there, because they're already zeros. So there we go. We eliminated all the extra info we didn't need that could cause issues. And lastly, the NCG, which is the tile of 3CA30. Now if your CG was too big, even without removing the padding zeros, then you might have to use a lower quality image or a lower resolution, etc. That's why I was using the 128 rather than something like 192, just for the sake of fitting it in. 3CA30. Once again, hit paste right, and you're going to want to remove any data you see until this ED stuff, but this should, I can tell you for a fact that once it starts this ED stuff, it's the end. So just write into the zeros until blah blah blah. But we can just save now, and then we're going to need Super Mario 64DSe, and we're going to open the title, and in ARM9 overlays, go into 7 and hit replace. Then in the new bin, we're going to open our overlay 7, and then we're going to see how it looks in game. So let's find out. Now you can see that our image works just fine, except for these black lines here. But why are the black lines over there? Now, if you remember what I said earlier about this palette here, it's these last 56 things that can make a difference because of the background gradient. So we're going to go edit those files now. So you can see this first pixel right here is what we want. So if we go to our palette file here, you can see that this right here is going to be it. So let's do some simple math. This is 1E0, or if I go into calculator, so the maximum number of palettes of colors you can have is 256, and if you have and the maximum number of byte size you can have is 512 for all 256 palettes. So if I divide them by 2, that means that each color is 2 bytes. And luckily, since all the last bytes are zeros, you can see how easily we can just start writing these. Worst case, you can just hit right click, paste right, paste right, paste right. That if you're lazy, you can copy that, paste right, copy this whole row, paste right, copy that, hit paste right, and then lastly, copy that, paste right. So now if I look at this, or ignore that actually, if I look at this palette in, so if I change the palette to a new palette, so new ICL.bin, and if I open as palette, you can see that I have all the colors there now. And luckily I can open the map, open it as tile, then open it as map, and you can see that it changed absolutely nothing. So I'm just going to copy this new ICL again, go to the palette offset, then hit paste right, and then let's see, and then let me replace the overlay, and see how it looks in game. And like magic, we have a fully working customized palette for Super Mario 64DS, title screen. Hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, found it useful. Please comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you all later.